Well, hello and good day. This is the MoJo Monday. We want to welcome everybody, a place to, gather together, hear incredible, life-changing and authentic stories, and as well as to learn leadership, team building lessons based on these timeless principles and core values. We want to welcome you. I'm Robert Arthur. My co-host with the most is Mr. Jim Rhodes.
Up in St. George, Utah, everybody. Not near as far away as our guest is from where Robert lives, but we've got a great guest tonight, and I'm looking so forward to this call.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. And even during the recording section here, I want to bring to your attention that we'll be alternating between Jim and myself. We were slated this call to be hosted. Somebody we all love and like too. Her name's Kimberly Penny. She'll be hosting a call coming up, a really fun call in 2 or 3 weeks where we all come into the call in costume around Halloween. It's going to be fun. And then a little FYI, our host next Monday is Miss Beth Basca, and she will be interviewing Dr. Nick Messina. It's going to be a powerful call, Miss Beth. You there?
I am. I'm looking forward to it. He's a wonderful human and a member of our scientific field. So he's lovely. So yeah, we'll have a lot of fun.
We will be covering, I think, ketosis, autophagy, and also helping support the liver health. So it's going to be a really call anybody, even remotely health conscious, much less wellness professionals. Let's get them on that call. Okay, without further ado, let me bring up a couple formal notes, and then Jim and myself will mention a couple things that matter to our hearts. So the gentleman tonight, over 2 decades now in this beautiful profession of direct sales, network marketing. He's been a chartered accountant for many years as well. So he's good with numbers, which is a good thing in his role as we go from a baby company to this global, amazing juggernaut of a company with Zalevo. And he just recently joined our corporate team. He's now the country manager, officially now, formally, of Australia, which we're now publicly open to hop in the sandbox with all the leaders down there in Australia. A number of them are on the call right now. Welcome, guys. I kind of rephrased the verbiage here, Gus, but I said you love and specialize. You love and specialize in merging the corporate teams along with field teams of leadership, and you are very gifted at that. So thank you for that talent. And you helped previously grow a company which most of us are familiar with. They were doing around 10 million to over 200 million in sales per year, Australian dollars. And in just 3 or 4 years there in Australia, you have a beautiful wife named Melinda. You have 3 amazing daughters. You don't say the R's, do you, down there? So I'll work on my Aussie accent here, guys. You love the outdoors. I know you love golf because one of your buddies, Dennis, we had a fun time up in Hurricane, Utah.
Earned its name. What's
that? It earned its name? It did, didn't it? The front 9 was pretty benign, and we made the turn and all heck broke loose. It was amazing. So, but we had a beautiful time. And you love tennis. Yeah, you're also this is interesting. Gus is also a volunteer surf lifesaver, and they're at the very well-known Well Beach there in the Sydney, Australia area. There's some beautiful coastal areas there all across that beautiful country. So welcome to the call, Mr. Angus, aka Gus Love.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for taking the time out tonight to jump on the Zoom. Hopefully I can share with you, some things that'll help your business in Zalevo, because we've got a pretty amazing time happening. So we've been up and running in Australia now for 4 months, and we're very excited about the incredible opportunity that awaits all of us. So especially now that international recruitment is up and alive.
Yes, we're excited. Who else is excited about building a team and partnering up with everybody internationally now? including Australia, New Zealand. And Gus, so we can spend 1 minute. Can you just introduce this something that we could actually win we can win pretty much a free trip down to your homeland?
Absolutely. So we will be doing our first major event in live event, in more like an annual conference. If you've experienced those in other organizations that you've been involved with, that'll be happening around the April-May timeframe in Australia. So we will be, it's a beautiful part of the country we'll be doing it in, which is southeast Queensland. It'll be warm. There's ocean, there's surf, there's it's a wonderful part of the world, probably a lot like the Florida side or San Diego even, in terms of climate. There you'll have the opportunity to meet a lot of Aussies, maybe a few Kiwis will sneak in if we let them, and we will have it's really the chance for Australia to, when we say officially launch, it's really come of age and come alive in Australia and start seriously building and growing the business and really changing a lot of lives for the better. Both our customers who, as we're all experiencing, are getting some pretty incredible results and changing lifestyles from the products, but equally our partners who I believe have the opportunity to enjoy a best of breed remuneration and reward system that has even many more benefits that will be coming down the pipe in the coming months across both the US and Australian markets. So very exciting time, and the opportunity for you to do that on the company's account. Nothing like traveling on the company coin, so you can you grow and build your business between now and that event. Then we'd love to have you down here sharing your wisdom, sharing your experience, and just sharing your friendship down here with the Aussies. It's going to be a great event.
It is. And please get with your upline leader and we can supply you with the details, the info of how to get those travel expenses covered. So yeah, just so excited, so stoked. So guys, shall we tee this up? And I know Jim, you and I talked about this. We looked at each other. We were physically, we were together up there at the event, the leadership workshop and the Master Your Power Within. Half of this call probably saw this, this very powerful training piece on legacy. And after it was all said there, we said, I approached Gus, we got to have this recorded so we can use this and just really get this message out, because so many beautiful lessons weaved into this training piece. And so we're just excited to bring you on tonight, obviously introduce you to more of the team as well, Gus. And it was just there's so many multiple layers of lessons built into what you're going to go with it over tonight with us on this training. So I'll give the platform to you, Mr. Gus.
Great. Thank you so much, Robert and Jim, for letting me come on and have a chat. So as Robert said, I have been fortunate enough to be part of this industry for a number of decades. And one thing that has attracted me to this industry is that it provides an opportunity like no other. It provides, irrespective of what skills, experience, training that you've had, you can come on board and really create two things that I think are so powerful for today's world, certainly in Australia. One of them is freedom, financial freedom, independence, and a chance to start living and designing the life that you want to have. And that is increasingly difficult in Australia to happen with rising prices and costs of living. It's becoming challenging, and even an extra couple of $100 a week can fundamentally change the freedom and the lifestyle that families in Australia can have. The second thing that I love about this industry is an often overused word, but it's a highly powerful word for me, and something that is actually really the reason why I love so much what I do, and it's all around trying to build a legacy. And legacy for people can mean very different things, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what legacy means to you. And I'll get to you to share in a minute. But firstly, from my perspective, it is ability to not only provide a level of wealth to pass down to your kids or whomever you deem appropriate, but really change the way they see the world. They see the opportunity that exists in the world, and they see their ability to influence the future in the world. Legacy has such an amazing, powerful impact if we allow and have it. So I'm really passionate about wanting to help and support and work for you, the field, in creating your individual and the organization's collective legacy. That's what I'm fired up about. And I say that because giving away a bit of my age here is that, in 2 decades in this industry, lots of companies that I've been involved with have had the opportunity to really create legacy, and I think have let that opportunity go in some shape or form. And we stand here today in a young, growing organization that has that opportunity in front of us. It's all of you that are going to directly impact and determine what legacy that you're going to leave, as well as the legacy opportunity that you're creating for people that have not even heard about Zalabo yet. So, and that's something that I'm really excited about. So tell me, unmute if you want to, and does anybody want to share what legacy means to them?
Don't be shy.
I'm good at picking on people too. So understand leaders always go first. No, that's why Jim's going to jump in.
Legacy is my family and my children, and having the opportunity financially and time-wise, and time is probably even more important than, although without finance, you don't have time, but to be able to take those that you want to be the closest to and share your insights with them, from my age down to my youngest, to various places in the world, such as Australia. Because I grew up, believe it or not, on the Oakland side of the San Francisco Bay. And at my high school, 3/4 of my friends in my senior class had never been to the Golden Gate Bridge, because their parents couldn't afford to get them to San Francisco to see it, because they were living paycheck to paycheck. And for me to be able to take my 26, 27 now grandkids and great grandkids places that will open their eyes and make them appreciate what we have in the United States, especially when we visit third world countries, and see how happy those people can be with so much less, because family is everything to them. And those sort of moments you cannot put a price on, but you have to have the time and the finance to be able to achieve that, which is one of my greatest goals.
Wow, that's huge. Just even the sheer fact, Jim, that you have an NFL team size family, and clearly you're the quarterback of that team. So, but creating, a legacy whereby, the young grandkids that you've got, are still formulating their life and working out where they're going to be, but you provide an opportunity when they're ready to be able to embrace the things that they're going to be passionate about and help, positively impact the world. That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else want to do a share? We'll get one more. Yeah, Dennis. Yep.
Yeah. With the beauty of residual income, I look at legacy also exactly what Jim's saying, but also like a living and breathing business that just keeps on living and moving forward because of that residual income concept. and and get to the point whether I'm here or not, it can keep going on and on with my family.
Yeah. Well, that's very insightful, Dennis, because it dovetails beautifully into what I wanted to share with you, because I didn't want to just talk about legacy. I wanted to show you legacy, because I'm a visual sort of guy. So I really wanted to share a legacy concept that is bigger than each and all of us, and will last much longer than necessarily our involvement in Zalevo. And so we're stewards on the way through, rather than having an ownership over legacy. We contribute to it, and our contribution helps build and put in the building blocks to have that run for many more years. So is it okay if I show you, or try to show you, some legacy? I'm here going to do technical stuff, and I'm an accountant. Yeah. So, you know, if you want to know what 1 and 1 adds up to, I'm an accountant. I can make it add up to whatever you want it to be. So that's the only skill I have. So technically wise, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for me, but let's see how we go. Can you guys see? Am I sharing my screen? Have you got that? Someone say yes if I do.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the journeys and legacy, and we've touched on you know, a couple of incredible views about legacy, and each of us have a different style to this. But I wanted to touch on just the way I see many companies building today.
Hey, Gus?
Yep.
Yeah, if you're open to a suggestion,
Sure.
where it says file, home, insert, if you can go over to slideshow, that should be the way to give us a full, clean, look, see the top, it says file, home, insert. There you go.
Does that work? Yep.
Yes, sir. We're good to go.
Cool.
Perfect.
So what happens is that in building an organization and growing, many organizations today start out with an idea, a concept, an approach. Certainly on the IT side of things, we often see this. There's an app, or there's a way to do something. It's a tactic, and it can often be very beneficial, and that's why it becomes popular. And then a culture starts to have to form around that tactic and idea and process. And then should that become something that the greater market wants to get involved with, the company then, a long way or some way into its journey, has to stop and think, wow, actually, so we provide a service, an app, an offering, a product, whatever it be, but we actually have to work out who we are and what impact we want to have. And they're trying to retrofit that set of values that they want run and governed across the organization well into its journey. And the challenge there is that many individual people have a different view around what the values of that organization should be. So it becomes really challenging to have the whole organization, whatever the organization be, adopt and build for the future values founded and based, versus what I would classify as a legacy-focused organization, or an organization that enables legacy to create, which I call an inside-out focus, which is where right from the outset, the organization, the leaders, the founders, the early participants in the business who are going to be so important into the foundational building of that organization or entity, it's built on values first. So right out the gate, everyone is clear on the fundamental values. And aren't we so lucky, Brandon has spent so much time really providing us with 12 incredible values in which to live every day of our Zalevo lives. It really is powerful. And when you hear him talk about each and every one of those values, he really brings them to life, which is what should happen. They aren't things that should be plastered onto a wall and often neglected and never read. These things are lived, and they help guide our everyday decisions and what we do. And from those values, we now have a culture. We have a Zalevo culture, which I have to say I'm so grateful to be a part of. And we're formulating it. Each of you are fundamentally important in helping formulate this culture. And from that, we're determining the tactics that we want to do. And so therefore, over time, the tactics and the culture will change slowly. Tactics often change quite a lot. So there's a lot of change from the outside, but the fundamental values will never change. They are permanent. They are our North Star, our guiding light on where we go. And that's where I see organizations that start and have a foundation of tactics, you know, a product, a service, an app, or whatever it be, struggles when change needs to come, and struggles when you know, things in the market develops. So that's why I feel an inside out focused approach is when I look at companies that, or entities that are really true legacy companies, they drive from their values out of the business. And I wanted to touch on the All Blacks as an example. Certainly for me, so obviously as an Aussie, rugby union, I appreciate a weird concept of a football game for you North Americans, but think of playing NFL and the same people are the offense and defense if you played that type of game. So it's a different physical shape and energy needed for the game. But as a team, the All Blacks started playing in 1884. So they've been going around 140 years. They have now a winning record of 90%. So 9 out of 10 games that they play as All Blacks, they win 9 of the 10 games that they play. And amazingly enough, that percentage 20 years ago was sitting at around 78, 79%. So in the last 20 years, in fact, their winning percentage has been well above the 9 out of 10 games across the board. And so there've been over 1,200 All Black players for the All Blacks. So it's not like a group of guys came together and formed this rugby union team, and then they are the main drivers and stalwarts of the business, or in this case, the game of football. They have been ranked number 1 more times and more often than all of the other nations that play rugby union have been ranked added together. That's how dominant this team has been. And so I have to appreciate and I have to bow down before our brothers and sisters across the ditch, is what we call it, across the Pacific to the island that is New Zealand. And it's an incredible legacy that the All Blacks have. And in fact, if you have any interest in it, they're actually currently playing in the World Cup, which Australia is probably not going to advance too far in, I have to say. But the All Blacks are again looking like a team that is going to go deep into this competition. So I just wanted to show you what it's like to be an All Black. Hope this comes through.
Hey, Gus,
Yep.
you might want to just pause the video a minute. I can show you how simple this will be. The audio is not coming through. So all you do, it's real quick to fix. Just stop.
Yep.
Just stop your screen share again. Stop share.
Yep.
And this time, when you click share screen, at the bottom of your screen, it'll say something about the sound. I forget the exact verbiage, but you'll see
share sound. Yep.
That's correct. And then we'll be good to go.
Thank you so much, Robert. I'll go back because they just say a few things that are important.
Okay.
Haven't lost at this venue since
that work?
1986.
Yes.
Only 3 of this current All Black team were born in 1986. Now the haka.
So there you go. Pretty formidable. I'll just shout and
They
jump
save
out
the
of
big
this.
hakas for the big test matches.
I'll just jump out of this.
Intense.
I'll just stop share here. Okay, and just jump back in. So, pretty scary thought coming out to play that group of individuals, and often it's seen as a dance, and it's not. It's actually a challenge. And interesting enough, it's as much a challenge to themselves as it is to the competitor that they're about to go out and play against. And so I wanted to touch on this because there's so many things that this group of guys really defines in terms of what a legacy is. So let me see, I've just got to jump in and try and get back to my slides. I'll work out how to do this, unless, Robert, you know how I should do this. Just give me a second so I can move on.
Yeah, just have your screen ready, just X out of YouTube and then into your.
Yeah, I'm going to jump back in again now.
Yeah.
So.
How many agree that Gus is doing a great technical job? His IT is just.
There we go.
go.
Here we go, we're away. So I just wanted to lay the foundations here. So when we're talking about legacy, we obviously we need to have the fundamental foundations of a business in place. And here we're talking about the founder's vision, Brandon's vision for what he could see. He could make a difference by creating and launching Zalevo, and then allowing us all to be a part of that vision and help shape that vision. The fundamental foundation stone of values that we've just talked about, an inside out built organization, the incredible products we've got. So there's no dispute that Kirsty Cody has created, and her team, that you're going to hear Dr. Messina next week. You know, incredible group of talented, inspired individuals that have created, I think, the most powerful product range I've seen in the market. And then a reward system that, again, I think is the most equitable, rewarding, and flexible in my 20 years of getting involved in remuneration systems and comp plans. So incredibly powerful opportunity there.
Lost at this
Sorry.
venue.
I tried to expand the screen and that didn't work. So unfortunately, Robert, my technical skills haven't expanded. So here we go. I'll go back to what I was doing before. So I wanted to jump down into some of the lessons that are driven. And so in terms of legacy, what's powerful is that it's vision inspired, it's values based, as we've touched on, and it's purpose driven. These three fundamentals, and it also goes across timeframes. So yes, we are forging this in the present, but we're drawing from our past. And Zalevo may not have a long, deep history, but each of us involved in it does. So we bring, Jim Rhodes and Robert and Kathy and Jill, all of the top leaders in the US, you bring incredible experience and wisdom into a young, state-of-the-art, best-of-breed organization. And we're forging and we're inspired by what we're going to provide the future for us. And that's the power. And I wanted to touch on this concept of legacy and what the All Blacks demonstrate to me in how to become such a century-old, powerful legacy that is as powerful today as it was when they first started 140 years ago. And three fundamentals. And so I just added in here, what is the definition of legacy? And it's about having, obviously, strong, powerful morals, honesty, decency, and adherence to incredibly high, powerful principles. And we're all connected to that in some shape or form here. And so where it is about honesty, character, and humble. And I wanted to talk about sweep. This was one of the very powerful lessons that I have been taught about the All Blacks. So at the end of the game, you can appreciate that 9 out of 10 times the All Blacks win the game. So there's a huge amount of fanfare and support for them, and interviews and cheering and celebrations when they get back into their changing sheds and parting with family and friends and all of the people that are involved. But the incredible thing happens is that, yes, there's an MVP announced, a most valuable player, but the All Blacks also have their own most valuable player award. And they do this in the dressing room. And they, what do you think they actually, well, some of you here know, because I've told you this before, but those that haven't worked at MPW, what do you think they give the most valuable player in the dressing room after the game that they announce? Anybody have a view of what they think they would give them? Or you can whack it into the chat. Or you think it's trophies, or it's prize money, or it's... Well, I'll tell you what it is. They give them a broom. Yes, a broom, an old broom, and the most valuable player's responsibility, along with the whole of the team, but he holds the broom, is to sweep up the changing room and tidy it and leave it in the same condition or better than when they walked into that changing room before the day started. So the All Blacks live by a philosophy saying nobody cleans up our mess. We clean up our own mess. And so the All Blacks, even though they are incredibly successful, even though they have achieved things that few other teams have ever achieved for the length of time, they haven't lost their humbleness, and they ensure that that is instilled in every single phase and part of their lives. So that is what sweep is all about in the All Blacks. So that's all around what I call probity. So it's one of the 5 pillars that there is ensuring that we have strong probity, and we will all have to make and determine that we have strong character and principles that we drive, and ensure that we have humbleness that is at the foundation of our probity in everything that we do. The second one is purpose. So it's obviously very clear that the All Blacks have a key purpose. And many would say that the key purpose could be to win as many games as they have. But they actually see themselves as a much broader purpose as their legacy. It's more than just playing rugby union. The life and the time of a Kiwi All Black rugby player is going to be much longer than their time actually playing rugby for the All Blacks. And they're fundamentally focused in on this. And so there are these three intersecting fundamental powers. There is the power of what you believe in, critically important. And then there is the power of the action that you're actually going to take. And the combination of those two things is what I would see as your passion coming out. And then there is what brings you happiness. And when you combine what brings you happiness with what you believe in, that's creating a vision for you. And then you apply what's making you happy and bringing you happiness with the action you're taking. That's obviously the mission that you're creating. Many will say in the intersection of these three is your why, is your raison d'etre, your reason for being, your fundamental drive that you want to create. And so in here, the All Blacks obviously will be playing rugby, but they take far more action outside of the game and the protection of those that play it. And where that comes out in is what they say is an analogy that is said all the time within the All Blacks, which is better people make better All Blacks. And that's what the BP, better people, makes better All Blacks. Meaning that they really focused in about 20 years ago when their winning percentage started falling. They really focused in on this, realizing that in order to be a better All Black, we actually had to create better people in and outside of the game, on and off the field, as I say there. And so one of the key things that happens when you are handed your opportunity to be an All Black, the first thing that the existing team and the senior members of that team are asking you, what will you bring to the All Blacks? What will you give up in order to be an All Black? Those two things have to happen. You're going to be challenged in needing to bring something to us to keep this legacy going and driving. And you are probably going to have to give up some things in order to be the best All Black that you can be, both on and off the field. And something that in rugby union that happens, and not so much in NFL, is that think of the position in an NFL team. Every position actually has a number. So for example, every quarterback would have the same number. Let's say, call it number 1, just to illustrate the difference here. So in rugby union, every position on the field from 1 to 15, the number on the player's back actually represents the position that they're playing in that team. So they can't elect to pick a number that they want to have. And so therefore in the All Blacks, they say, when you're picked for the All Blacks, in the position that you're picked in, you represent a number. You represent the number of all those players before you. You represent the number that when you play, and you also represent all of the numbers that will be coming after you. You're setting that standard for those players that come into that position. So you're a steward of this number. You don't own the number. And that is the power, a very powerful concept in legacy. How's that resonating? Anything coming out for you at all? Anybody wanted to share? Okay, so I'll jump into the, and that was all around the people side of the legacy. So legacy here getting built and by the All Blacks is around probity, purpose. That was people, and I wanted to talk about the fourth P, which is progressive. So legacy has to be progressive. If we're not constantly looking to improve and grow, then legacy will get stale. And they call it in the All Blacks, Kiwi Kaizen. Kaizen, a Japanese word meaning for constant and perpetual development and growth, never-ending growth. So there is no finishing line. There's just a constant commitment to being better and the best person that we can be, the best organization, the best football team, the best network marketing direct sales company we want to be. That was demonstrated for me in when I started to understand about this guy called David Brailsford. So who's David? You've probably never heard of him unless you're a keen bike rider, push bike rider. So David was brought in to the British cycling team in 2010 because a British rider had never won the Tour de France, which is the largest cycling race around the world. So it's in France. It goes for 3 weeks. They ride about 3,000 kilometers in that 3 weeks. They do a lot of riding and across the flats and through the mountains of the Pyrenees and the Alps and the like. Anyway, the British team have never really performed well in the Olympics, and they'd never had a rider that had won the Tour de France. So this team, it was a British team at the time called Sky, and Team Sky brought David in, and the goal was a 5-year plan. So in 2015, they hoped that they would have a British rider that would win the Tour de France. Well, David brought in this concept of incremental marginal gains. Incremental marginal gains. And what was meant by that was the aggregation of all of these little marginal gains. So it was all the 1%ers that they did. And so what is an example of that David did here? It was things like, so up until this time, the riders would move around from hotel to hotel throughout France in the riding. And then every hotel was a different style of hotel. So David said, we're going to take a team truck and we're going to bring the mattresses and the pillows and the bedding that every rider wants to use and their style. So the riders are actually sleeping on the same bed every single night of the Tour de France rather than a different bed. They started providing food for the different riders based on that rider's needs rather than just a main meal, the same main meal for all of the riders. David brought in this concept of actually getting on warm-up bikes and warming up pre the ride and actually warming down or cooling down after the ride. And this often goes for about half an hour. So it ensured that the lactic acid from the daily ride by these riders got dissipated and meant that it wasn't negatively impactful in the following days. And so with all of these little 1%ers, nothing was a major change, but there were many, many little 1%ers that all got added together on top of each other, aggregated together, meant incredible change. So incredible that in 2 years later, in just 2 years, Bradley Wiggins, a Team Sky rider, actually won the Tour de France. 2 years. So a program and a plan and a trajectory of 5 years happened in 2. Not only did that happen, some of you may remember in 2012, it was the London Olympics. And in fact, Bradley won a gold medal in a cycling race in those Olympics as well, which was the first gold medal for a British cyclist in an event. Then in 2013, Team Sky won the Tour de France again by a guy called Chris Froome. He won it again in 2015, in 2016, in 2017, and Geraint Thomas, another Team Sky rider, won it in 2018. And since 2018, Team Sky, it's changed its name, but it's still a British ride. It's Ineos team now, have been in the top 3. So one of the years there was a leading rider and he had a crash. He would have won the Tour de France had he not had a crash in the mountains. My point being here is the aggregation of marginal gains. So in your business, what little 1%ers can you do in your business? Things like getting up 5 minutes early to do a bit of research or a reading or an affirmation. So I want you to spend maybe the next 30 seconds thinking about, write down 3 really small, really simple things you can do that you could apply to you and your business tomorrow. When you wake up tomorrow, what are 3 things that you could do? And it could be as simple as get up earlier, stay a bit later, reach out to one more person, say a thank you or a gratitude note to one more of your teammates, whatever it be. I want you to write 3 of them down now. And as soon as somebody has 3, does someone want to share with me what they are? Just unmute and jump, because I can't see all of you at the moment. So if there's somebody. Even if you
I will.
share one.
I
Thank you.
will. Well, I get up earlier and I start earlier and do a work it call, which forces me in action. And then I'm reaching out to more people and inviting more people into a product page.
Beautiful, Kimberly. Thank you. That's awesome. And I also have to say, Kimberly has upped her life insurance since she was in a car with me driving around the sand dunes of St. George.
Gasoline.
Yeah. So here are 4 questions I want you to take away tonight, and I actually want you to spend a bit of time having an answer. And these are questions that the All Blacks asks of themselves. So, and this is in and outside of the game, and this is what I think we can apply to our own businesses. Question 1, what do I need to do less of in order to help me build my legacy within Zalando? What do I need to do less of? What do I even need to stop doing? And even if you can't stop it, stop doing less of it out the gate is a progression. Remember, we're looking for the 1%ers. We're not looking for these massive commitments like a New Year's resolution that gets smashed, 2 weeks in. Like my confession, every New Year's resolution to not eat chocolate, lasts a good 6 days. But what are the things that you want to stop? Also, what are the things you're going to start doing? You don't have to be, we're all disasters before we're masters at this industry and this business. So what are the things we're going to start doing and having a go at? Momentum is so important. It's one of the natural drugs that will drive you to success faster than anything else is momentum. Such a key part of your business. It doesn't matter how fast you're moving. It just matters that you're moving and you're moving forward. And then what do I need to do more of? You may be highly skilled at a number of things in the business, but you just need to refocus a bit and get back into doing the key activities that you know you can do. So I won't take up time because I know it's getting a bit late for you guys and we're approaching the hour mark. So I just wanted to touch on that. So the final area and the final P in building a legacy company for me is around understanding this word of pressure and what it is. And the All Blacks talk about it in terms of bracing expectations. So it's not arrogance. It's embracing the expectation that is set. What do I mean by this? I mean that when the All Blacks run out onto the pitch, and as you saw that haka, that would be an incredible experience to receive. And they have many hakas that is on the field battle of rugby union, but they have welcoming hakas to the country when you get there. and many different types of hakas. But in the All Blacks scenario, they run out expecting to win. So every sinew of their body is focused on what they've needed to do pre-game, and then as the game starts, with the expectation that they're going to win. It's not an arrogance position. It's a position that they've done the hard work. They've worked on all of these little aggregated marginal gains to ensure that they are in the best possible position to win. And they don't always win, but they have a strong expectation that that's going to happen. They also have a saying, which is no pressure, no diamonds. So in order to create the diamond, you have to have pressure. Pressure is a good thing if it's well understood. You're not going to gain growth in your business if you don't have this natural pressure in there. So it's not stress, it's tension, it's pressure, it's working, because that is what will and is the only thing that is an absolute must in terms of creating diamonds. And the final thing I'll touch on, is this concept of loss aversion. So what loss aversion is when there is a focus, a greater focus on not wanting to lose than there is on actually winning. And I can tell you, Dennis and Robert saw this firsthand in my golf game. So on the very rare occasion that I actually am on the green and I have a chance for a putt for a par, I'm more often focused on not wanting to miss the putt than I am sitting there thinking about making the putt. Is that making sense to any golfers out there? Anyone can agree? So loss aversion is where your focus is more about not wanting to lose than the focus is on wanting to win. And it's such a material impact that they've actually done a study this on PGA golfers. And more golfers putting from the same distance when they're putting for a birdie, they miss it more times than when they're putting for a par. So this impact of loss aversion can creep into your business. It can creep into the way the All Blacks play. So they need to ensure they're focused on winning, not focus on not losing, if that makes the difference. And so with that, I wanted to finish on a quote in terms of legacy. And it's that what you leave behind is not what is engraved on the stone monuments, but what's woven into the lives of others. And it's going to be up to us to do that. It's going to be up to us to weave into the lives of those people that are part of Zalevo today and those people that are coming. There are going to be many, many thousands more that are going to embrace and be part of the Zalevo family. And it's up to us to create the legacy and work and build on those foundations that Brandon and the team have put in place for us to go and really create a powerful legacy. So that's legacy. It's something that is by definition offered to us, and it's up to us to create it. It's up to us to build it, and it's up to us to provide that for the people to come. So I hope that's helped in some shape or form. I hope you've got a nugget or two out of that. And certainly if you've got any questions, love to try and answer those.
By all means, yes. Let me change the view. I'm just seeing the speaker. Go to gallery. So by a show of hands or make some movement of energy, if you gained at least one nugget, how about a whole buffet of nuggets? Anybody on this call? Okay, awesome. So I guess let's go ahead and honor what we put on the table as well. So questions, comments. Gus is gracious enough to be here for a few more minutes. So questions, comments, guys, for Gus.
Anybody? You have left us speechless.
No.
One thing Robert and I noticed that is very impressive and important to us is the Blacks were wearing Adidas.
Yes, a great brand, a great world brand, a great legacy brand.
Very true. Barb, thank you, Bill.
one of the things that I loved of the story of the British cyclers, I mean, they did even such little things that they each got their own seat.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that we have to find the thing that suits us. What's the thing that we are going to do that we will do consistently, that we will all, like sitting on your own seat, you're on your bike. It's this thing, the little thing that's special for you. What's that one thing that you're going to do consistently? And that's what I think what part of the legacy is that you do it consistently, and that becomes part of your legacy. You're not trying to be like somebody else. You're not trying to ride somebody else's bike that has a different seat.
Yep, absolutely.
You're doing
And also, Barb, is what happens is there will be other organizations that are inspired and want to copy and emulate what we do, and that's a compliment. That's just evolution and growth. And so many teams riding in the Tour de France now have learnt the lessons and seen the power of what Team Sky and David Brailsford have done. And exactly as you're saying, Barb, they're all got their own customized shaped seats for because they're in that seat for a long time, so it's got to fit right. So absolutely, great share.
Great share, Miss Kathy.
I think I loved how, although they did the individual things, their one thing, their 1%, they did that all unified as a group. They were solid together. And that's one of the things I love most about Zalevo is that we are a tight family and that we get to lean on each other. So I made a list of all my people to lock hard with and do that dance, right? But I mean, the dance is it's the doing our extra things that we pick. So they're going to be individualized, but we're doing them together as a solid unit. And I love that.
Yeah, great share. And the thing with the haka is that what we see is only the outside. Yeah, so what we see is them doing the haka, but what is happening on the inside is so powerful. Those guys are out there and doing incredible things for each other. And that is exactly as you're saying, Kathy, that creates that legacy by the fact that, even though we may not physically be standing next to our teammate and our partner, we are absolutely standing next to them, and this haka is happening obviously all around the States and now all around Australia. That we're in lockstep. So just think of us each doing that haka, and we each have our position on that field and have that responsibility. Great share.
Yeah, great shares.
If I could share, one thought is to look at the faces of each of those players and the intensity. They're not just 100% in this game. They are soul, body, mind, every muscle, sinew is tingling as they speak it and as they offer that challenge to themselves as well as the others. You can feel it in the air just by looking at their face.
Yeah, absolutely. So powerful. And not only looking at their faces, Jim, the other thing that I was really, really caught my eye in the haka, notice that the leader of the haka starts from the back. He actually never got to the front. So the team know the leader is there. The leader doesn't have to always be out the front doing this. The leader is there in a team. The team can hear that leader. He's driving the call, but he's part of the team, but it doesn't mean that he's always out in the front. The team members are more than happy and know their place, that sometimes they need to be at the front of that team.
Yeah, great share, Jim. Isn't it interesting too, Gus? One thing that I didn't really realize, because like anybody on Google, after your talk, I went online and said, what is the winning percentage? When you said it was in the 90s, I was like, okay. And then And then when I went online, it was showed it like 77%. And then to me, this is a beautiful, beautiful testament to the fact that look at what we're grounded in. As sport has evolved, the winning percentages, there's so much more typically most sports, the athletes are spread out. And the fact that they, in the past 20 years in our modern day sporting era, went from 77 to over 90%, to me, that's a beautiful testament to being grounded in these core values. That right there is proof of the legacy.
Absolutely, absolutely, Robert. And all the other countries have the same tools. They have the same abilities to utilize technology and all of this stuff, but it still has not enabled them to get anywhere close to the percentages that this legacy team have created. So that demonstrates to me is that it's the internal power of what Kathy was saying, this connection between everybody that has this intangible but very real impact on the success, on the legacy of the team. Because I can tell you, many countries are now today trying to replicate, to duplicate what the All Blacks do, and no one has been successful at it. And it's a relatively small country by population, 4 million people. So it's not like they have a mass of people to select to play the game. So I think it's very powerful. Yeah.
Well, some timeless principles. Make some kind of movement if you agree. Timeless life principles that apply to everything, all aspects of life. And Gus, with your permission, I know we're past the top of the hour. I would like you to just summarize this. What is your vision? What do you see happening over the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years? What's the vision here?
So my vision changes by the day because I learn more. I have an opportunity like tonight to spend time with you incredible people who are so much a part of what Zalevo is and what it will be. I've been fortunate enough in a number of other guises to be in organizations that had massive momentum. Momentum where we moved from, more than 10x, well, I'm talking like 20x and 30x in terms of growth over a 2-year period and a 2 and 3 year period. And there is nothing that I've seen in the past that comes close to what is before us and what we have as our foundational stones, our quality of our product and offering, the impact and the way that's changing lives, the quality and the dimensions of our reward system, our compensation plan, but there are going to be more things that overlay on top of that in the coming months. The quality of the opportunity that we have, and that's all founded with the inside out approach, the fact of our values and vision from our founder is so important. And when we place all of that into an environment, certainly in Australia, that is a challenging environment. I don't think there's ever a time that Zalevo has been more needed for the Australian market, both in terms of the impact on health for Australians and the impact on wealth, freedom, and financial security and independence. Never seen a more needed time for an opportunity that we present. And therefore, I see it as our obligation to get out and share this with people who desperately need our opportunity and need to be part of the Zalevo. And we're doing it in a beautiful way where people can be part of our family, whether they just want to be customers. And I don't say just meaning belittling it, but meaning that that's where they see their participation. And we love and need that. And because many times I've seen our best business builders have come from being passionate, committed partners of a company. So I think it's wonderful that we are truly embracing our customer base and letting them live and enjoy the experience as a customer. And then those that want to step up and get a more involvement in the business is wonderful. That's, I think, something that this industry has never really done well enough in the past. And we're like the British cycling team. We're creating new and different ways to do it. It's not a 20% change. It's maybe a 1-2% change, but it's going to be powerful. And these aggregated marginal gains are going to be why Zalevo is going to be what I see as a force for good and a force that's going to change the perception of this industry in the future. And I'm so grateful to be working for you guys and being part of this and just adding, my part into that journey.
Well, you gained some fans tonight because you shared your heart and you shared what's real and authentic to you. So that's what it's all about. Thank you, Gus. Guys, let's first of all, in just a moment, we're going to unmute and we're going to do 1, 2, 3 and say love you, thank you, whatever you want to say to our great friend here from Australia. And then we're going to have Jim do a little countdown. We always typically shout out one of our favorite core values of our 12 fundamental core values, which is force for good. But first of all, let's honor him taking the time and also sharing his heart tonight as well. So here we go. Please unmute, please. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, Gus.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Brother.
Inspirational. Thank
Love
you.
you. You rock and you drive like a maniac.
Yeah.
Go gasoline.
No,
Yes.
no.
Jim, lead us off.
Okay, count of 3. Let's add 2 little words. I am a force for good. 1, 2, 3. I am a force for good. Yes, you are.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Gus. Good to see you,
much.
Gus.